Hello and welcome to what's in this week's Oban Times with me, Ellis Butcher, and back.
Me, Kathie Griffiths.
Hello. Griffiths returns after a month of holiday.
Do you know what? It feels like a month of holiday. I've had a fantastic time, but it's good to be back.
It's great to have you back, Kathie. And as one super reporter comes back and gets a cape out again, another of our super reporters has flown off on holiday. So we hope you're having a good time, Fiona. But anyway, let's get on to this week's paper. It's now September on the masthead of the Oban Times. Can you believe it? It's September already. It'll soon be you know what. It's been a packed
Ellis, yeah. Ellis, I think someone told me it's 18 Fridays until you know what.
It's not 18 Fridays. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Start getting your shopping done. Anyway, on to the serious stuff.
Shop local.
Shop local, indeed. It's a big paper again. There's a lot of news been around. It's been a very, very personally busy week. But first of all, I want to just lead into what Kathie's been up to.
Okay, well, I was at Oban Community Council this week. So lots of things on the agenda, lots of hot discussion. Ganavan was up there, of course, with, people staying overnight and all the rubbishing and foul waste that's being left. But also there was some concern about our standards slipping slightly when it comes to social distancing in Oban. There are lots of sort of messages out there. There's lots of banners, posters urging people to keep the distance and, to wear masks in shops. But it seems that some of the councillors are rather concerned that, some people aren't sticking to that. And we don't want to have to face a local lockdown in our lovely town. And there was one tale that was said, and I shan't name names, about one person at that meeting who had a house party going on close to them and got a little bit concerned and had to sort of, probably do the right thing and knock on the door politely and say, really, there's still restrictions in place, just we need to look after each other. So a message there. And they were saying any parents out there, anyone really who thinks that, people aren't sticking to the restrictions, don't be afraid really of politely. And if you feel able to, challenging people and just saying, look, let's try and keep our community safe. So a bit of a tale there for folks.
Very good. That was from the this week's Oban Community Council.
It was.
Yes. Well, that's interesting because that leads into a story that I've been doing this week. And I've been speaking to a couple of parents who developed and their children developed virus-like symptoms having returned to school. And of course, naturally, as a parent, you're really quite concerned about this issue, as are your children, because, they know that COVID is out there as well. So they've come home with coughs and a bit of a cold and potentially, temperature might be up and a little bit anxious. What they've tried to do, quite understandably, is get a test sorted out. And by gum, what a runaround people in this area seem to have had. I'm not sure if it's the same for everyone. I'm sure that there were a lot of people out there that have easily got tests arranged, but certainly for the families that we've spoken to this week, the process has not been very straightforward at all. It involved a big, long trip down to Loch Gilphead, 5 of them in a car. It's a 3.5-hour round trip. They couldn't do this online. They couldn't do that online. It was really quite concerning, some of the issues that they've raised. So that's a subject that we've given quite a bit of room to in the Oban Times this week, because this system needs to be right this winter.
And actually at the community council, one of the community councillors, Laura Corbet, said that her children have been at school, and she said hats off to all the teachers there at Oban High School who have really, pulled out all the stops, and as well as doing the jobs of teachers, are doing the jobs of nurses and all sorts of things, doing like 3-hour lessons, loads of stuff going on there. And she says they've been absolutely incredible. However, it seems that half the school has actually come down with this flipping cold that's going round. So she's saying, with all the best will in the world, germs are germs, things are going to pass on. So we really do all need to look after ourselves.
I think what it comes down to, the problem is this. The official government advice is that if you've got a continuous cough, and it's how a parent identifies what a continuous cough is. Is a continuous cough one where you've coughed for 3 days? Is it one where you cough every 5 minutes? Is it one where you cough every hour? What is the definition? I think this is causing the problem. So parents, quite understandably, as soon as their child starts coughing, they're going to instinctively think that this could be COVID. And the effect of that is that the system then becomes under immense pressure because people want the test and they want it quickly. Nobody can come along and make this absolutely bulletproof, this system. I'm sure that the health service and those involved at the other side are doing everything they can. But just some of the experiences that we've heard about this week, given that we are going into winter, are really quite concerning. But moving on to other matters and something a bit more lighthearted, I went out at the weekend to see those brilliant fundraisers for the RNLI, and they were in Oban. People will remember that there was a campaign started called Betty's Pots. And if you don't know what Betty's Pots are, I'm going to tell you. This is where you can raise money for the RNLI just by simply putting your spare 5p's into a little glass jar. Anyway, there were 5 volunteers down on the North Pier at the weekend. They were with their marquee and they were all collecting these 5p's. They've raised a nice amount of money. It was great to catch up with them, and they do an immense job in terms of keeping the lifeboat running in Oban.
We've been doing that, haven't we? At the OT, we've been collecting our 5p's, and we've handed over quite a few pots, I would say, in the last few months. So other people should join in, and even if you're working from home like us, I've got a little pile of 5p's. So just because you're not in the office, or just because you're maybe not going places where you might normally have gone to save your 5p's, you can still do it at home, folks.
Even the editor took time out on her.
Even the editor.
Even the editor. She even took time out of her weekend to deliver the OT's collection of 5p's to the RNLI. So well done all the staff.
Fabulous. Well, keeping with the watery theme, I've been talking to, I like to move swiftly on. I do like my little links. Oban Sailing Club. Been having a chat with them this week, so we've got a nice feature going in about what they've been up to, because even though it's been locked down, they've not necessarily been landlocked, because they have managed to get, I know, because when restrictions did start to ease a little bit, they did manage to get their dinghies out because they could manage those safely. But there's been a lot of sort of community effort going on within that club. They have actually made a little donation to the Hope Kitchen as well, which was really nice. But community-wise, they've had families and volunteers going out on safety boats so other people could go out on dinghies, but it's all been like really safely managed, so no one's been put at risk at any stage. And they're still open to members as well. So, if you're looking for something new, feeling that, maybe things are moving on a bit and fancy having a go and having some fun on the water, you can get in touch with them. And lots more other projects that they're working on and partnerships. And so get the OT, read it. Or read it online, but great place.
You must read the OT this week. You must read it, seriously. There's a tremendous amount of effort goes into the paper every week. We only give you a tiny snapshot of actually what's in it. It runs to sort of 40 pages. There's far more than we could ever get through in this podcast. So get out there in your droves and keep supporting your local newspaper. So we're always happy at the Oban Times to hear from you. So stay in touch, tell us your stories, keep sending in your photos. Don't forget the photographs. You can contact us by calling 01631 568 000, or you can email editor@obantimes.co.uk or message us on Facebook. Of course, you can read all our stories for free online at the moment, or you can pick up a copy of the OT from supermarkets, newsagents and petrol stations. To get the page-turning digital edition of the Oban Times, you can subscribe now and still get 3 months for the discounted price of just £4.80. So that's all we've got for this week, and that's goodbye from me, Ellis Butcher.
And goodbye from me, Kathie Griffiths.
Bye.
Bye.